Got kicked out of a communion for bringing in a packet of Arby's sauce. It isn't my fault the body of Christ is just as bland as his religion. Hello and welcome back to a show that says that the long road of life were paved with dicks. You'd probably teach yourself to walk on your ass. Here on the PeterPod Network! Season 2!
Because your theory is we're going to go down there and have a donkey barbecue and I'm going to furnish the ass, right? You are not. You don't know where that's been.
Hey everybody and welcome back to the only show that never learned to say no. I am PeterPod, he's Will in the back, and our mascot, Melissa Cody, aka the Butt Slut, was just announced as being cast in the role of Rapunzel in a local play. Except instead of letting her hair down, she continues to let down everyone in her life. That's right folks, this is the PeterPod Network. So I doubt it's a stretch to say that most of us are fucking done with winter. We thought we might get away with a mild one this year, but it appears the weather gods think we still owe them money or something, as we got another foot or so of snow this week in New Hampshire. But looking at the bright side, nature seems to be handling the homeless problem a hell of a lot better than the city of Manchester did, so at least we have that to be thankful for. And we'll get to where you can send your hate mail in a second. Don't worry. Also, St. Patrick's Day came and went this last Friday, and the PeterPod Network went out to conduct our own, we'll call it holiday research. Basically, we went and got drunk as shit, and we'll be talking all about it in a future episode of The Rant, so stay tuned for that. And we will say, some of you out there prove every St. Patrick's Day that you were absolutely no fun in high school. And in the news that we just couldn't wait to get to, so we're hitting it now, harder than that time we met up with your mom, the ICC, that is the International Criminal Court, has officially announced an arrest warrant for our favorite crazy horse fucker. That's right, the man even Russia can't stand. The man most compared to anal warts, Russian president and all-around asshole, Vladimir Putin. And after spending an entire season making all kinds of fun of this piece of shit, the PeterPod Network cannot stress enough that there is no one who deserves it more. Congratulations, Vlad. Now you're a piece of shit on paper, too. So if you're looking for all things PeterPod Network, make sure to stop by the archives at PeterPodNetwork.com to find all the episodes that you can't get anywhere else, as well as the songs, the new art, and all the bits that came out like shit. We tend to overshare. So sit back and have a laugh with, or at, two of New Hampshire's most juvenile hosts at PeterPodNetwork.com. And remember that if you try to Google us, please use two fingers. Hit that subscribe button and give us a follow on all the major socials. It's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and as well as Amazon, Spotify, Samsung Podcast, and pretty much anywhere else podcasts can be found. Still no Apple, though. We've drawn a line in the sand, and that line is free shit. If Apple wants our love, then they can pay for it like the street corner prostitutes they get all the time. And if you really want to send us in some hate mail, or if you want to send in your own butt slut joke just like Andy A. did, have at it at thepeterpodnetwork@gmail.com. Let us know what you liked and what you didn't. We do give this warning, though. We do write back. We are definitely giant assholes, so be prepared for that. And as a side note, nothing is off limits. Now that we have all that fuckery out of the way, let's get this shit show started. So may we present to you our own lovely, thoughtful way of saying, fuck you. King of the Jackholes! Well, I guess you know we're about to piss somebody off. Hey everybody, this week once again it appears that we have another Queen of the Jackholes, as one woman has decided it was her time to shine. So may we present to you our fucked up followers, Queen of the Jackholes! And our lovely winner this week is actually a very beautiful woman who is hitting the media like no other. Ladies and gentlemen, may we present to you this week's Queen of the Jackholes, Erica Herman. That's right, folks. Anyone who follows TMZ or the sport of golf really saw the recent reports about Erica Herman, who gave herself a bit of a fame injection this week when she filed a lawsuit against the once elite golfer, Tiger Woods, who of course gave her his own brand of fame injections while they were together. Miss Herman is suing both Tiger Woods and the trust that he has put his home into, as she states charges of sexual misconduct and a broken oral agreement regarding being a tenant in Tiger Woods' home. And we're just going to put this out there. Maybe if there was less oral and more agreement, she wouldn't be in this position. Currently, Miss Herman is suing for $30 million, which in this day and age of the uneducated insta-whore, both surprises no one and reveals how big of a gold digger Miss Herman really is. Good job, Toots. But standing in her way from continuing the lawsuit is a pesky non-disclosure agreement that we're willing to bet Miss Herman really wishes she never signed. Now, Florida law does have a stipulation that if the NDA is covering up sexual assaults and a few other categories, a judge could decide to throw it out. Problem is, though, that when they presented their petition claiming sexual misconduct, she filed one petition saying yes, and then her lawyer filed another one saying no. So apparently the stupid tree is just as real as the ugly tree. And I want to throw out a side question here. Why the fuck do girls do this? You came to a relationship with nothing but an overused pussy and most likely a mountain of debt. And for some backward-ass reason, you think you're entitled to whatever your new man has. And retardedly think there's a ring in this picture at some point. Ladies, let me be more honest than any man you have ever met or spoken to before. You are out of your goddamn fucking minds. You could be a 10 on the hotness scale, but if the only thing you have to contribute is pussy, please know that your man ain't just your man. He's every woman's man. At least the ones who are willing to put out in order to get a free dinner. And there are a lot of those out there. And you don't even get to be mad about it because you're doing the same fucking thing. The best part about this story? Well, that would be how my new spirit animal, Tiger Woods, decided to let her know that he was fucking done with her bullshit. According to reports found on TMZ and elsewhere on the internet, Woods told Erica Herman to pack her bags and to meet him at the airport for a surprise vacation he planned. Then once she was on her way to the airport, my man changed the locks and told that money-grubbing monster, "Hey, it's been fun, but your pussy ain't worth half my shit." Going forward, what will happen with the case is still up in the air, as the judge hasn't decided on whether the non-disclosure agreement will be thrown out or not. But either way, Erica Herman's future as an overpriced OnlyFans beggar is certainly set in stone. And a word to the wise for her next boyfriend, don't let that bitch move in. If a nice amicable breakup was possible, we're fairly positive Tiger Woods wouldn't have created a situation that would of course lead everyone to remember the time when he got all fucked up on pills and was chased out of his driveway by his golf club wielding ex-wife. So for this week, as you can tell, we really had no other choice but to choose Erica Herman as Queen of the Jackholes. Hi everybody, it's me again, Jeff McConaughey, and I'd like to speak to you directly from the crack den I slept in last night after going on my weekly bender. What I'd like to speak to you about today is Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor. On those days when the boss wants you to work a 16-hour shift at your local Subway restaurant, but you know that there's no way your body will let you go more than 8 hours without a drink before it shuts down completely, then what you need is the Drunken Advantage. Now, we talk a lot about the Drunken Advantage, and I think I want to make sure you know exactly what that means. For when the kids did Easter that morning, but you forgot to hide the eggs, so those little bastards keep looking until sundown. For when the wife tells you that that was the only thing you had to do. For when you decide that they can all go fuck themselves. And you drive past the power lines with a cheap trick named Darla and a 30 rack of our finest and not fit for human consumption malt liquor. Well, you know what you have right there, my friend. That is the Drunken Advantage. Here at Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, we take pride in the fact that we know that most of you don't want to go to work. Heck, most of you don't want to go home. But when you bring along a big old reused bottle of windshield wiper fluid that was cleaned out with a hose out back, filled with our secret family recipe adult beverage that we aren't supposed to call a beverage anymore, that utilizes all the parts of the alley cat and occasional possum from under the garage, well, you know that you're either about to have the time of your life or be escorted off the property by the police. But either way, that is the Drunken Advantage. When the world could be burning down, but you just don't give a fuck, that is the Drunken Advantage. When Walmart finally decides that it's had enough of the drunken fight club you started in the electronics department, that is the Drunken Advantage. When the Karens of the world keep their little traps shut because they know full well you will hit a bitch, that is the motherfucking Drunken Advantage. Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor. Because St. Patrick's Day can go on for as long as you want. Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, the only malt liquor to promote blindness. What are the words to this song? I don't know, but I'll carry on. Because I've got something to say. And here comes the rant of the week. All right, this week's rant's going to go where we normally don't like to go, and that is the world of politics. But we are going there for a good reason, actually, and that reason is Donald Trump. Or more specifically, why there really is no need to go full TDS this time around. And before we get emails saying they weren't going full TDS, they were just standing up for something. Last time you threw pussy hats on your heads and then expected to be taken seriously. We feel safe in our assessment. Now, before we begin, the PeterPod Network would like to be clear. We take no sides in politics. We think they're all pedophile elitists who honestly couldn't give two shits as to whether the country is better off than when they began. And that goes for every politician in every country, too. While we may not be voting for Donald Trump, we sure as shit are not going to be voting for our current president, who needs help negotiating a set of stairs and hasn't spoken a clear and understandable sentence since the Clinton administration. Frankly, I personally still don't understand how the party of youthful and new perspectives elected the oldest president in the history of the fucking country. But that, again, is a rant for another day. As we were saying, we wanted to examine the man that some have referred to as President Circus Peanut, and the good and the bad that came along with that. And more importantly, the reason why everyone should just calm the fuck down when it comes to Donald J. Trump. It should be said, he wasn't that bad of a president. I'm still waiting for someone to tell us what he did that was actually racist. The unemployment numbers at an all-time low for minorities kind of shot down that argument. Now, I remember when filling up my SUV didn't cost the same as a week's worth of groceries. And I also remember when a week's worth of groceries didn't become its own problem now, like it is under he who is old as dirt. Now, other than tweeting with the passion and consistency of an Adderall-addicted 14-year-old girl, and of course those creepy-ass kids, which, seriously, I'm not trying to be mean, I will say Ivanka does look hot as shit. I won't lie, that girl is hot as fuck, and even vegetarians dream about eating that pussy. But as for the rest of them, Eric Trump looks like he's had a penis in his mouth at some point in his life. Don Jr. looks like it could have been his penis. Tiffany looks like that extra chromosome came by mail, and Barron Trump looks like his eyes are silently screaming for help. Don't get me wrong, Hunter Biden has them all beat by a fucking meth-addicted mile. None of Trump's kids have photos out there of them passed out still holding the crack pipe. That motherfucker is a legend in all the wrong places. He looks like he's fucked up even sober. I think it is very possible that at one point he may very well think that he's the one who won the election in 2020. So if Barron Trump's eyes scream for help, then Hunter Biden's eyes scream for more. See, we don't take sides. We are equal opportunity assholes who say it like it is. So as I was saying, really the only issue, if you're taking an honest look, was that the all-wise and powerful President Donald J. Trump could not hold his shit in. He was the kind of guy that if he didn't comment on something, then we all worried that he was tied to a chair somewhere and the country was under attack. The man had the equivalent of Tourette's, which is never good when that man is not afraid to be an asshole. And boy, was he not afraid to be a petty motherfucking asshole. We could go over the list of mindfuck reactions the former president shot out into the world. And for the Trump supporters listening, you gotta admit, that guy said some really odd shit sometimes. It wasn't the now famous Biden speech pattern reminiscent of a stroke victim, but Trump had his own brand of special at times, let's be honest. So listen, yeah, he's running for president, which honestly surprises the shit out of us. But do you really think he's gonna win? And again, let's be honest with ourselves, even if he does win, then you'll just have your drunken bear again to poke with your stick so you can go and get way too offended just like you used to when he bites back. And you all know there was an embarrassingly fuck ton of you that loved doing that. And now I think I forgot the point of this rant. There is a place I like to go, a place where I can get away, another place and time I could be different. But I can't seem to change. I'm fucking weird and I know it, and I surely wanted to show. Right around then is where we begin, with the men in their white coats. Somewhere there's a face you used to know, a face that I've never seen, in a place and time that I could be different. But I can't seem to change. I know what to say about me, and how you can't leave me alone. Right around then is where we begin, with the men in their white coats. All this time I've been wandering around the freak show waiting. I took my pills which revealed what's real. Sorry to the bearded lady. There is a guy I used to know who could get you anything, another place and time and I could be different. But I can't seem to change. I'm fucking nuts and I know it, and it surely fucking shows. Right about now is where we begin, with the men in their white coats. There is a place I like to go, a place where I can get away, another place and time and I could be different. But I can't seem to change. I'm fucking weird and I know it, and I surely want to show. Right about now's where we begin, with the men in their white coats. Fought a dragon just today, the beast was fierce and mighty. Turned out I was on the subway, fighting an old lady. I just can't seem to change. Coming to you live from the PeterPod News Station's world-famous Stage 5. Join our host in discovering what makes you tick, New Hampshire. Is your neighbor secretly running a Taiwanese brothel out of his basement? Are they open when I get off work tonight? Do we know if they accept checks? Can someone call my wife and let her know I'll be late? This is the PPN News. What was once lost has now been found. Welcome everyone to the PPN News. The Amtrak train running from Boston, Massachusetts to Portland, Maine was looking like it was going to be pretty fucking boring for the passengers as they rode through the New Hampshire portion of the trip and were previously forced to either talk to each other, God forbid, or dive even deeper into their smartphones. But have no fear, it appears that Amtrak has found what it is calling creative solutions to allow those passing through the 35-mile stretch through the Granite State to keep on feeding that sweet, sweet addiction. Some are referring to the new decision as a great way to go for the world's longest tax-free beer run. And not to overshadow that fucking moron who ran his buddies some beers during Vietnam, there are those in the community who see this as an opportunity to both drink responsibly and get laid in a passenger car bathroom. We leave it to our listeners to decide which they would rather do. Residents of Massachusetts are said to be pleased at the convenience of not having to get off the train to have a tax-free affordable drink, and the residents of New Hampshire are just as pleased that they don't have to get off the train too. To quote one resident, now they can keep their crazy shit over there. In other news, a New Hampshire resident and state legislator has done what so few of us have done here in the Granite State. This dumbass made it onto TMZ for, and I quote, losing his shit and assaulting a snowplow driver, for what State Rep Jeffrey Gleason claimed was the plow driver not doing his job. Or at least that's what he told New Hampshire State Police when they arrested his ass and charged him with disorderly conduct, criminal trespassing, and simple assault. And while it does seem that both parties involved have since contacted each other and exchanged apologies, the fucking video is gonna live forever on places like TMZ because it is fucking hilarious. And if you haven't seen it, just do a simple Google search or go to tmz.com, which is where we found it. State Rep Gleason is seen in the video trudging through a foot or more of snow and jumping around like a pissed-off garden gnome. It is truly fun for the whole family. Except the kids, because he is not keeping quiet. And your wife if she's being bitchy. Last tonight, well, I'm sure all of you know by now, the spirit of winter isn't quite done kicking our asses for what appears to be the fun of it. The early winter season this time around left many Granite Staters wondering what happened. The ski trails opened late, the ice castles were temporarily on hold, and little kids were losing their shit all across New Hampshire due to the lack of snow days. Well, Mother Nature heard you, New Hampshire, and as we can see now, she's a bitch, which really shouldn't come as a shock. This is the same lady who made the duck-billed platypus. Really, some beaver somewhere pissed her off, and she was just like, oh yeah? Do you want to know what I can do to you? Anyways, this latest snowfall, New Hampshire residents can finally chill the hell out and enjoy the beautiful white blanket that lay before them. Until the traffic, melting, and everything else turns it into the gray gross piles that make us ironically wish for summer. This has been the PPN News. Here at Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, we want to make sure to thank all of our wonderful customers with a new promotion that we want to try out. So starting this month until Christmas, if you open a bottle of our fine malt liquor and Clem's finger is in there, well, then you let us know right away, and after a healthy course of antibiotics, we want to take you on a tour of our facilities. Starting with the gathering of ingredients in back of the market basket on Elm Street, you can root through the dumpsters with us, collecting everything that you think could possibly ferment, just like we do in the alley. And after we gather everything we need, we'll take you on a special trip to see our brewing lab at your local mobile gas station, in the bathroom with the broken lock. Unless they fix that lock, then maybe we can make it in the McDonald's bathroom. After we show you all the tips and tricks we utilize to produce for you our Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, and you help us gut the cat for the next brew pot, we'll introduce you to the founder of Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, good old Eustace G. McGorry. He brewed the first batch of our fine adult beverage in a rusty pot he stole from some homeless people way back in the days of hairbands and Aquanet, a time when the world most needed a drunken advantage. Now when you meet old Eustace, make sure not to stare. He may have lost a foot to the diabetes, but his bullets don't need feet, and they always win the race. So make sure to stock up on Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, because now until Christmas you have a chance to be shot in the dick by a crazy drunk old fuck. Because that's how we say thank you. Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor, now with less hepatitis. Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor may say that it is now less hepatitis, but that is just for advertising. Current testing show an increase in hepatitis, and additionally, testing results show positive for Super AIDS. Listen to stories from around the world. Sit back and relax with your girl. Try not to laugh until it hurts. Welcome to another edition of Our World. Welcome back to this week's edition of Our World, bringing you stories from around the globe. Women in Berlin have found a new way of setting men up to fail, as now women are legally allowed to go topless at public pools in the historic German city. City officials said that they are still in the process of preparing for a much higher attendance at the pools, with one city official commenting, "We're letting men see free titties. How could we ever prepare enough?" Local women's groups in the city are celebrating the recent decision, claiming freedom and equality. The local men are seen quietly biding their time and are quoted as saying, "Yeah, equality. That's why we voted for it. It wasn't the tits, I just really love equality." We here at the PPN News think it was the tits. It looks like the airline Lufthansa may have fucked up in a big way, and they wish it was about lost luggage this time around. If you hadn't heard, the airline had a bit of an issue over the last week or so, as allegations that the captain and crew of one particular flight asked, or some say ordered, the passengers on their flight to delete all the photos and videos after the plane they were traveling in plunged 4,000 fucking feet and turned what was once a nice orderly airplane into what looked like the party scene after Animal House. Passengers, including the wife of lesser-known actor Matthew McConaughey, and who, more importantly, is also the step-sister-in-law to Drunken Advantage Malt Liquor spokesman Jeff McConaughey, were asked to repeatedly delete any evidence of the incident ever happening. And once they realized they had no fucking chance of that happening, well, I'm sure the apologies were lovely. Over in Indonesia, once again the earth has burped as the volcano known as Mount Merapi in Indonesia has erupted and sent locals to the island of Java on red alert, as they dodge flying rocks and lava that accompanied a searing hot cloud of dust and gas that is currently hanging over the island. Just like your creepy uncle lurking over your bed when you were 7. Yeah, that wasn't a dream. Local residents are quoted as saying, "Hot, hot, 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 hot." Sorry, we had to. Commenters on Facebook and other social media platforms have been lending their non-existent expertise to the current situation. But local islanders say, "While we appreciate your advice to just stand in the water so we don't get burned, that's pretty fucking hard to do when the goddamn ocean is boiling because molten lava is falling into it." A Maine motorist is missing the point this week as he has decided to fight the recall of his vanity plates. The plates in question, which are supposed to say "Love Tofu," are spelled with the letters LUVTOFU, which to anyone who knows what a beer tastes like is actually reading as "Love to FU." And of course, that would be the reason why the Maine Department of Motor Vehicles said "F you" right back to him and pulled the plates. The driver in question has decided to push the issue, which has some puzzled, as we can tell he's just a hippie with a dad joke, but what he is not is a hippie with a sense of the future. We'll just say this now. At some point, you're either going to have to pick up or drop off your kids at their school. And when the school resource officer sees you loading a child into your car that has that plate, you're going to end up on a list and your daughter will become property of Child Protective Services pending an investigation. And lastly tonight, the Netflix-created has-been Joe Exotic, a.k.a. Joseph Maldonado, I think it's the third or something like that, has officially announced that it looks like he's going to die in jail. And just speaking for myself, Joe, you've been saying this for years now. Would you get to it already? I've never rooted for cancer before, but Jesus Christ, would you hurry the fuck up? In his latest press release from prison after being convicted of hiring a hitman to kill that bitch Carol Baskins, Joe announced that he will be leaving his entire estate to his fiancée, whose name we just don't care enough about to find out. And luckily, that estate is worth a whopping $1 million in debt. That's right, Joe Exotic is worth a staggering negative $1 million. Sounds like Netflix did that boy dirty. And top off the bizarre nature that is the world of Joe Exotic, even though he's dying, he's still running for president. And if it's between Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and Joe Exotic, he may actually have a chance. Or not.
Stupid.
I wonder what it means when it says warning. Does that mean that I still get one more chance? I like to stick tin foil in the microwave, but I always seem to forget to turn off the gas. Why do I do these dumb things all the time? Like teaching safe sex to kids. I spend my life doing what I want, a lifetime of doing dumb. Let me tell you what it's all about. This is how it all went down. I ran a bathymeter toast, but the toaster, it didn't float. Every time I look around, I see the faces looking down, just because they didn't forget to wear their pants again. And all these people making choices, and all I can do is make these noises. Think I might have glued my lips together again. And all these people doing awesome, and all my doctors want to talk, so now I have to go away to get better again. 'Cause of that time I made her cry, but she said I tried to make her die. Just a little undercooked chicken, my friend. And that last day that was kind of scary, and that last girlfriend who was kind of hairy. Only wish she learned how to wipe properly. Then there was that thought about that coat. He did seem like he could be a nice winter coat, but he too could have learned to wipe properly. Let me tell you what it's all about. This is how it all went down. I ran a bathymeter toast, but the toaster, it didn't float. Why do I do these dumb things all the time? Like teaching safe sex to kids. I spend my life doing what I want, a lifetime of doing dumb things.
And that is our show this week. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that you heard. This was a fun one to make, and when the news of Vladimir Putin was looking at war crimes came in, well, it just became so much better. I don't know why we hate him so much. Oh yeah, never mind. I remember. He is a giant piece of shit. Make sure to let us know what you thought of the show by emailing us at thepeterpodnetwork@gmail.com. Let us know what you like and what you didn't. And if you didn't, we may just tell you to fuck right off. That's only if we like you. So remember, thepeterpodnetwork@gmail.com. Include the THE, or you didn't reach me. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us wherever you find us. We are currently on Amazon, Spotify, Samsung, YouTube, and so many other fucking places that makes my head spin. And finally, find the archives at PeterPodNetwork.com to hear everything that has ever occurred in the land of the PeterPod Network. The bits, the shits, and all the hits that's out there. And a fuckload you've never heard before and cannot be found anywhere else. So for the PeterPod Network, I am PeterPod. He's Will in the back, and our mascot, Melissa Cody, aka the Butt Slut, will forever be the dumbest target to ever exist. Aim well, my friends. Have a great, safe, and amazing week. Just not too safe. Bye now.
Here we are, well, what you want, even if you don't. I've already had too much to drink, and I might be a little stoned. They're ready to be stupefied by